Hi, hello, and how are you? That's right. That sexy timepiece says it's time. So come on in and stay a while. It's time to get coached up with another edition of the Coach Scott Field Show. Rockwell continues to be a proud sponsor, and I'm a proud brand ambassador for him. So go to rockwelltime.com, ROCKWELLTIME.com. Use the code COACH20 to receive 20% off of any merchandise there on that website. Like and follow the Coach Scott Field Show on our Facebook page. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell when these notifications come out to continue to see wonderful guests. If you're listening to us in podcast form, the Skywalker and I say, turn that knob up. We're going to put that flavor in your ear. If you're watching us on DBTV, I sure appreciate your continued support. Over 300,000 views per show per day, and an opportunity to be seen in 300 million households around the globe. Check us out on CSTV on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and the Rewind Sports 60. Sure appreciate however you consume us. We are blessed and honored to have phenomenal guests on our show. And today, just like the rest, we've got a winner with us. Debbie Deb, the Skywalker, Debbie Walker Augurson. Gosh, how can I not read some of these accolades? 2011 Basketball Hall of Fame in the state of Indiana. This August, you're going to be inducted into the Indiana Sports Hall of Fame. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here.
Man, I'll tell you what, when we can have a couple Hoosiers sit on here and just chop it up, you know it's going to be a good time.
Yes, let's do it. It's gonna be a good one.
There you go. Awesome. Well, here we are, some Indiana folks. South Bend. When I say South Bend, what does that mean to you?
South Bend, a city that loves basketball. It's supported all forms of basketball, high school, elementary, high school, college. The whole city comes out and they love sports, all sports actually. So it's a sports town.
And you had great success. South Bend LaSalle, 1980, and it seems like only a blink, 1980. But you guys made it to the semi-state, representing that school. How much fun was it to have the community support, the community backing, and for you to be in that environment where basketball is just huge in the state of Indiana?
Well, Scott, I think it's so exciting. Looking back during those days when all you look up and all the stands are full for girls basketball. We played before the boys, but we always had a good crowd. So I can say that just being supported and by the boys team too, everybody supported us. So it's just something that we went on this ride, on this journey. We went down to semi-state. Unfortunately, we got beat, but we shouldn't have. But it was so exciting just to go downstate and go there and get all the things, all the experiences, all the gifts, people throwing stuff to you out of the stands, people asking for your autograph, something that we didn't really do back then. So
Yeah.
I think it was just something that was just incredible. Unfortunately, we should have won, but I'll tell you what happened. You really want to know?
Hey, speak the truth here.
Our point guard was having a baby.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
I tried to beg her to play. I'm like, don't tell coach, don't tell. You're good, you're good. Don't you can play, you can play. But she informed the coach, and the coach didn't let her play. So we didn't have a point guard. So we went
Oh,
and we played with a guard that hadn't played all year, and you could just see her. She was devastated, just shaking all over the place. And I kind of take the blame for it because it's probably my fault because I should have just started gunning. And I didn't.
wow.
I listened to the coach and I ran the plays. We ran the plays and I went down and got in my little position but the ball never came down because it never made it past half court.
And I'm sure that young gal had to be like a deer in the headlights, just, to be put in that position,
Position, yes.
to have that atmosphere. I mean, yes, there's going to be nerves, there's going to be anxiety, but to be on that big of a stage and then
Hmm.
thrust into being, the floor general, that had to be tough.
Yes. And you could see her coming when she was coming down the court. Her jersey was shaking. She was so scared. You could just see it. But
Oh,
however, I had two more players on my team. I should have just told them, "Come on, let's go,"
yeah,
and not try to run the plays. We should have just went straight street ball because we could have beat them.
yeah.
We had went ahead and just played like we played King Center.
There you go. There you go.
But we
So,
didn't. We listened to the coach, and that haunts me to this day that I
yeah.
didn't go. I should have turned into the machine gun.
Debbie, isn't that amazing?
Hmm.
All these years can go by, and yes, we can have accomplishments and we can have honors, but the wins are fabulous because it just fills your spirit and soul. But
Yeah.
sometimes we just can't forget those losses or those near championships that haunt us for the rest of our lives. It's a ghost that sits up on the mantle that just like, how come we as competitors we can't get rid of that ghost?
Right. You wake up and you're like, oh, why didn't I just go coast to coast? I practice going coast to coast all the time. It wouldn't even been a problem. I'm like, ah. But anyway, that's life. Hey,
Isn't that something?
no regrets.
There you go. There you go. And that's the attitude to have. Well,
Hmm.
take us let's go back. You're going down to the semi-state. What was like the tensions, or what were the conversations, or what was going through your mind on that bus ride going down to the arena before that semi-state game?
We don't have a point guard.
Yeah.
uh, just wanting to go down there and represent Northern Indiana because Indiana around Indianapolis, they get more exposure than we do.
Yeah.
And so just coming from South Bend way up north, almost in Michigan,
Yep.
to go downstate and then to perform at that level and to compete. So it was so exciting, and we just roll with it. And our coach would tell us, "It's just like any other game. It's just like any other game." And we kind of played like that, like it was any other game. But however, we was just missing that piece. But
Yeah.
far as having fun, going to the hotels, the friendship with all my teammates, and actually the other teammates, the other teams too. We were good teammates with a lot of the players from the other teams because I do take the notion when there's other players on the other team that's good. I reach out to them, I talk to them, and like, hey, we trash talk.
That's right. That's right. I love it. So
Yeah.
so tell me this. What did you do to get yourself ready for those big games? Were you the kind that had the headphones on and had a playlist of music, or were you more like, meditation, or were you more free spirited and just having conversations with people around you on the bus? How did you get your mindset?
Um, we we're kind of goofy. We just make jokes and have fun all the time. We always laugh and have fun. So just getting ourselves ready, just trying to relax, basically with music and telling jokes. And I don't know what to say about that one because our team, we had a really goofy team. So we just like to bother each other all the time. So that's what we
Yeah.
did. And that's how we dealt with the stress. I can't say that we dealt with a lot of stress because we did. We played basketball all day, every day. So it was just something we did. We wasn't scared. We think you think you're going to win. You have that mindset. I'm going out there. We're going to beat them. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel any stress like that, and
Yeah.
I knew I could score. So I was like, however, when it was time to score, I should have just did it.
Yeah.
So
So thinking back, and I'm thinking, okay, 1980s, what was the popular music right then that would get you ready? What gets you gassed? I mean, was it the Rocky Balboa music? I mean, what did you listen to just get you
oh,
all hype?
see, I'm a lover of music, so I love all music. So that's kind of hard, but rap was just coming out. So
Yeah,
Sugar Hill Gang and all that stuff.
a hip hop, a hip to the.
So yeah, and Funkadelic and Parliament and Flashlight and Bop Gun and all those songs that were
Yeah,
back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey,
all those hype songs, yeah, we listen to those. Hey, We Are the Champions and what's up some of them other songs. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I'll tell you what's funny. If people knew me back in the 80s,
huh?
they would laugh at me because in my car, of course, back then, it was cassette tapes. So we'd throw the cassette tape in. I would have, like you said, Sugar Hill Gang. I had Zap. I had that
Yep,
going.
yep. Rogers Zap. Yep, exactly.
Hey, yeah. So that's how I used to get so excited and get myself ready to go. So it's funny to kind of reminisce and think back to what was the music of that time
Hmm.
and that generation. Because
Right.
these kids today, the stuff they listen to, I'm like, I hear the lyrics, but I don't feel them like I did back back when I was in the 80s,
Someone's gonna
right?
get hurt. Someone's gonna get hurt with that music.
Right.
It's some of the weird things I used to do. I was like really different. I like my hands to be sweaty. So
Okay.
I keep my hand in a plastic bag, my shooting hand in a plastic bag before the game. And I would wear ankle weights all day. So when I take up right before the game, I'll take them off and I'll be super fast. And I'll get
Yeah.
like 5 steals right out the gate just from being quicker than them guys. But like I said, I always wore the ankle weights. That was one of my, you said something you did before the games. That
Yeah.
was it, always.
I like that because think about it, because now you don't have that extra 2 to 5 pounds on each foot. You're going to feel quick
Oh,
and you're going to have quick
yes,
feet. But I like
exactly.
the one with sticking your hands in the plastic bag to
Hmm.
keep your hand moist. So that way the ball's not going to slip through your hands.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one in a while.
And I had big hands. I was pounding the men's ball probably when I was 12. So,
Nice.
yeah. So it was like when I got to Mizzou, they looking at me like, what a weirdo.
Hey,
But I
it,
still would do it.
hey, and obviously it worked because you were also a part of the Indiana All-Star team.
Yes.
And what an honor that had to be. Where
Yes.
were you when you got the call or got the letter or got the
Mm.
message that you were selected as an Indiana All-Star?
My coach got the letter, actually. She got all the letters. She kept some notes. Well, she got the letter, so she let me know. And then they followed up with a letter and a phone call. So I was home and I took the letter home to my mom after my coach gave it to me. And it was like, this is kind of unbelievable. But I kind of knew I was going to get in because we had to go try out. So you had to
Yeah.
go down to Indianapolis and try out. And I'm like, the tryout was super easy for me. And like I said, once again, those ankle weights, I'll take them off and I'll steal the ball before they could get down court. So I would just
There,
get easy layups, easy layups, easy layups. So
I
yeah.
love it. I love that. And of course, now for people around the nation, they may not know or understand, but Indiana versus Kentucky in those All-Star games, I mean
Yes.
that was big time. And
Yes,
and
it was.
if you represented the state of Indiana across your chest and was
Mhm.
donning that number, I mean that meant something. There was a lot of pride. What
Yes.
was it like when you finally put that jersey on and you're playing against Kentucky and because it's usually like a home and away series. Take us
Yes.
through those times.
Well, we stayed in a hotel for about 2 weeks and we trained. So we were all together in a hotel, and of course they give you everything. And the whole town accepts you. You have all these barbecues and cookouts, and you go over to sponsors and boosters' homes and meeting all these fans, signing these autographs. I mean, they give you so much stuff that's it's like incredible. But going into the arena and looking up, what's the Pacers before they got a new arena now, right?
Yes, yes.
So, the old arena, and you go in there and you're looking around. You never played in an arena that big, and then same thing when you went to Kentucky. So we were lucky. We beat them. Yeah, we beat them at home. They beat us at home. But like I said, it was not. I think Kentucky used to always beat us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we it's
You
kind
you
of
you,
funny.
you took care of business.
Yeah, we did. And I know when we got to Kentucky, we were playing in Rupp Arena, and I'm out there, and then next thing I know, ouch, a big old horsefly bit me on the arm.
What? Oh my gosh.
I'm like, a bug in the arena while you playing back? No, a fly. So he bit me. I'm like, that was kind of
Wow.
disgusting. But other than that, it was amazing to go and play and meet all the people and
Yeah.
just yeah, all the coaches and the scouts there wanting to talk to you and trying to get you to come to their university. So yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I want to backtrack. Who were some of your teammates with that Indiana All-Star team?
Hmm. Oh, Amy Matheny, she played for Indiana.
Okay.
and she's a big Indiana fan now,
Yeah.
and she's a doctor. So
Wow. Wow.
she's amazing. Sue Watts was on my team, and I can't say I remember a lot of them,
Yeah.
a lot of the names. I just played. We played together, and I just played.
That's
I'm friends with
fun.
some of them, but not a lot. But
Yeah.
a couple of them, we talk, but not a lot.
Now, at that time, were you already recruited and had you already committed to Mizzou, or was that
Yes,
part of the process? And those coaches were talking with you as well in that recruiting time.
I had made a verbal commitment to go to Mizzou, and
Okay.
so I did continue to talk, and I think I made a couple more visits, and yeah, I knew I wanted to go to Mizzou from the start. So I
I,
just kind of played around with the other universities and
yeah.
go to visit and all
There
the
you
perks.
go. Yeah. There you go. Good for you. And now think about that. You had a wonderful career at Mizzou. I mean, you were 1,000 point scorer. I mean, that had to feel pretty good for a girl from South Bend, Indiana, LaSalle High School, now with the Mizzou Tigers playing in a great competitive conference. You're 1,000 point scorer. Take us through those years and the maturity and the development of your game.
Okay, so let's see, let's go back. So when I arrived, it was really different because I was like thrown into an environment that was different. It was all
Yeah.
white. And
Okay.
so, you very seldom see some people of color, only mostly the athletes. So you would see them in a dining hall and passing through practice and all that. So there was a big adjustment of going in, being the only minority or the only person of color in your classrooms, actually on the team at the beginning, because,
Right.
yeah,
You were the very first African American
uh-huh,
athlete on that squad.
yes, exactly. And so I didn't really think about color a lot. Um, when people would mess with me, of course, I would think about it. And
Yeah.
now I would think about it when I'm in class sometime. I would feel kind of isolated and lonely. And I would look around. I'm like, why is no black people in my class? And where are the black people? Or
Yeah.
any people of color? There was none.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I would get kind of teary eyed and I was like, what am I doing here?
Wow.
And then I started thinking, I'm like, you must be special because you're
Right.
here and
Right.
no one else is here. And so I was like, okay, just roll with it. And so it was okay. I just dealt with it. And then I tried to go out and find, because you're missing your culture.
Yeah.
You're missing your food, you're missing your family, you're missing your friends, you're missing the music, you're missing everything, all about, everything that you had in your community is now stripped. So now you got to try to adjust and adapt. And so I was dealing with that. And then I also had to deal with she moved me to point guard.
Oh.
Yeah, she moved me to guard. She told me I'm gonna be like Magic Johnson and all this. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be Magic Johnson. I don't want to play. I like posting up and I like being in the paint and I like swatting shots and all that from underneath when they put the putbacks. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and so she put me there and I was struggling, big time struggling. They was stealing the ball. I was wanting to call the police. They were
Yeah.
stealing the ball from me so much. I was like, help,
Right.
911.
Isn't that an interesting thing that when
Hmm.
when you think about the adjustments you were making and being groundbreaking, being an
Hmm.
African American in a predominantly Caucasian society, but yet
Hmm.
now you're being asked to be played on the court in a position that you weren't comfortable with. There's got to be a lot of things going on within you saying, okay, what can I do to get back to being Debbie, when I can be the Skywalker, you know?
Right. So I was benched the first game. I sat on the bench and I'm like frustrated, um, seriously angry now. And so I'm like, okay, I go back to practice and I'm working hard. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do, but there was just point guards better than me. That's plain and simple. They've been playing point guard for their whole life.
Right.
And so I tried to make the adjustment, and then I was like, Coach, why don't you just put me in the three? Put me in the three and I can do better. And she's like, no, I want you at this position because you'll be better at guard. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll keep trying. Kept trying and trying. I'm like, I think I might set the bench the first game, and the second game I got in and I started playing. I was doing pretty decent. I'm getting minutes. Then I went 1 for 6. And you would think I went 1 for 26.
Wow.
They had a fit. Okay, you want for six? 10%. So I just hung in there. I was angry. I decided I'm gonna leave. I'm like, I'm not gonna be no one's cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's how I started playing basketball, being a cheerleader. And I noticed the guys playing basketball. I'm like, no, I already been a cheerleader. I'm all for cheering for my team, but I don't want that role as the one way down there on the bench. And so I said I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave because I'm thinking in my heart I'm thinking I'm being treated unfairly. You know how we are as
Yeah.
players. We think we're supposed to be out there. And so then I was thinking you have to sit out a year then. Remember, you would have to sit out.
Oh, yeah. If you
Yeah.
transferred, that's
If you
right.
transfer, you had to sit out. So I'm like, and I know if you sit out, you lose a lot of your ability and your timing and everything becomes off
So
balance.
true.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave. So at Christmas time, I went home and I talked to my brother and my friends, and they're like, you ain't never quit. You haven't never quit. So my brother takes me out in the snow, cold, wind. We run, we play basketball, we go to King Center, we do all this stuff, we do all this talking, and I went back and I'm like, I'm taking somebody's spot. This is my spot from this day on, and no one's getting it back. And so I went in and I just started banging, and I got that spot, and I never lost it again. But I still kind of reluctant about staying because I felt kind of uncomfortable a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so springtime came, and I said I'm gonna go visit some schools. The schools that were recruiting me, I called the coaches up. Hey, I'll come there. So I sneak away, and they know I'm trying to leave, so they always watching me. So I
Oh, yeah.
went to the Greyhound bus station. I snuck on the bus, and I see my friends and my players ratted me out. Somebody told because the coaches, I'm on the bus looking out, and the coaches is walking around the bus. So I just kind of slid down and hid. So so I went to Kentucky. I went to Kentucky and I could have easily went there and played, and then I went down to Morehead State, and I went there, and then I was on the way back on the bus. I'm like, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit. I'm going back. I'm going back, and I'm gonna finish what I started, because one thing my mom always taught us to never quit and to never start something and don't finish it. And so that's what I did. I said I'm gonna go back and finish, and I tried to go home. My mom was like, "You're not coming here. You're not coming here." And she's like, you need to stay there and go through it. And so the second year, I had already had my position. So freshman, sophomore year. So all summer long, I come back up here to Seattle and I hang out at Green Lake all summer long. And I'm playing the whole summer. I'm playing with Clint Richardson, and during
Oh,
the summer, I'm out playing at Notre Dame, Kelly Trapuka, Orlando Woodridge. I'm playing everywhere. Anybody I could play with, I'm playing with. I'm just looking for guys. I don't want to play with any girls. I don't
yeah.
want to see any girls. I'm gonna play with all the guys. So I'll be super fast and quick. And so that's what I did. And so that sophomore year, I came back. I was in excellent shape. And let me back up a minute. Your freshman year, you had before you even went up to the gym, you spend 2 weeks on the track, right? Because she sends you a summer workout program. So when I got that summer workout program, I'm like, this lady is nuts. Is she crazy? It was like 6 110s, 110 yards,
Yeah.
6 220s, two 440s, 1 mile, 2 miles. I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing that.
She got
And
me
so
going out for the track team.
And so I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I'm playing with these guys all day and I'm running all day, soaking wet all day. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So we get out there and we have to run these sprints and stuff. And the sprints I can handle, but that mile and that 2 mile,
Ooh.
ooh, my legs cramped up and my whole body. And I'm like, oh God, help me. And so I got through that. And so it was funny because once you made your time, you can go upstairs to the gym. But it's always one person or two that didn't make their time, and then the coach would make you come back down because they didn't make their time.
Oh,
And, and so we would encourage them and push them, and then they make their time. So that second year, when I came back, I learned my lesson. So I went to the track, and then in the sun, I ran. I did everything she told me to do. I did it. And so when we came back, in the fall, and we were doing those sprints. I'm just flying past everybody in the mile, and my teammates begging me, please don't lap me, don't lap us, don't lap us. Oh yeah, I'm lapping you.
You came back with that Mamba mentality right
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna lap anybody that's behind me. Yeah, and
That's
so
right.
I got through that, and so I'm in excellent condition. And then January, and we're winning too, big time. And so I got January came right after Christmas. And so we up in the gym and we had to, you know how you always had to have your feet taped? I hated it.
Oh.
Oh, I hated it. So I used to sneak away and I kept some scissors in my locker and I would cut it off. Or I would cut slots on the side so it wasn't so tight.
Yep.
And so I'm like, and so this one day I cut off my left foot, but I left the right foot on. And guess we go up to the gym. I'm playing. I fake right, fake left, fake right. Keep pump faking. These two girls jump on my back, boom, and crack my fibia.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow. So I'm on the ground. I was like, they're gonna see you don't have your foot tape. So I hopped up and I hopped on one leg and I ran. On one leg,
Oh.
I hopped, and I ditched them because you know Hearn said Mizzou was way at the top, you know, way at the bottom for the locker room. So I made it down there, and then by the time they came to look for me or come to get me, I had both legs, both feet untaped. So they's like, you didn't have your feet taped, did you? And I was like, yeah, I did. Then I was like, no, I didn't. I only had this one taped, and so yeah, so I end up in a cast, and so
Oh.
yeah, so we that year we went pretty far. Um, we make it all the way and we win the Big Eight and we go moving on. And so I couldn't play. So I like I said, I got 1,000 points, but I only played like three years. I didn't get the 3 years in what 2 months. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so they wanted me to play in the tournament. We make it to the NC2A tournament. All right. So I'm like, okay, I just want to play. I just want to play. So they give me a TENS unit. So I got the TENS unit connect to my hip. And I go in the game, wobbling, hobbling, and my hand hit the button and turned that TENS unit up, and I'm like, ah.
Oh no. Oh.
So I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. So that was that. And so then that end of that season, I got a letter from the Olympic Committee to I could try out. My friend Lorraine Ferris, she was All American, and she was already um, you know she was All American Wade Trophy finalist, so she was already going to the Olympics. So I'm like, okay, cool. When I found out I could go too, but then I'm like, I can't even run. But I'm like,
Oh.
I'm still going. I'm gonna go and do what I can. But then my mom and everyone, they was like, there's no need of you spending your money and getting all the sponsors to spend their money, and you know you're not there, so don't go and make it worse.
Wow.
So
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah, that was that. And
Wow.
so out of here. So anyway, can you hear that?
Yo, oh no, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So then the next year, like I said, we continue just winning every year 20, 25, 20 games, 25, 26, 25. And we just go on and we get to the tournaments, get to the end. And most of the time, the teams from the East will get us. East Coast, like Maryland,
Yeah.
and then LSU. Uh, and so that that's my junior year. We did senior year. We did go, and then we started getting calls from overseas. Did I go too far?
No, no,
Yeah.
great story. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Coach Scott Field Show, and we have Hall of Famer Debbie Walker Augurson on with us. She's talking about her stories, um, playing for South Bend LaSalle and then playing at the University of Missouri. Great stories of perseverance, great stories of mental toughness. Now we're talking about her battling through injuries and how to overcome those injuries. But what I hear is just a competitive drive for you, because hearing about the stories of you spending time at Notre Dame, playing against the Kelly Tribucas and the Orlando Woldridges, I mean, you were doing whatever you could to
Mm-hmm.
just have yourself ready. And I love that competitive spirit within you. And
Thank
that's
you.
what's made you who you are today. Um, let's talk a little bit about now, because you were able to play overseas. But before we get to overseas, let's talk about Title IX and women's
Oh,
sports. Because of
yeah.
Title IX just passing 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel you were able to benefit coming from the Title IX and the equity with sports with women? Because men's sports for years always had much more money. There was much
Mm-hmm.
more sponsorship, had better care and better treatment and better facilities.
Yes.
But how do you see where Title IX at least gave you a little bit of benefit to play underneath that?
Hmm. Well, as you said, NCAA, they didn't allow women in when I went to college. So it was like we were AIAW. And with AIAW, there was very little funding. And so we were pretty much a league of our own. We caught the bus to games. We
Yeah.
drove vans. We didn't stay in the top hotels. We didn't eat the best food. We didn't have Nikes. We wore our own shoes. But our coach she was really nice, and she did the best she can with what she had.
Yep.
And so the next year, when the government put in Title IX, it was a whole new story. It's like, okay, we going with Nike's coming in. So Nike came in and gave us all our Nike shoes, all Air Force Ones, the first Air Force Ones. Yeah. So they gave so they gave us all shoes and clothes. I mean, Nike gear. They
Yep.
became our sponsors. We got new uniforms. That we got upgraded in the locker room. Everything the men had, we were starting to have, but it wasn't. It still wasn't equal. It's
Yep.
supposed to be an equal,
Right.
but it wasn't. But it was better
Right.
than what it was. And
Yep.
so, with that being said, we were able to now get more exposure because now we can travel to the West. We can go out and play UCLA and USC and go down in the deltas and play Mississippi State, Auburn, and Clemson and all them guys, opposed to just staying in your region, catching the bus.
Yep.
And so when NCAA decided they was going to have women, it was kind of like, I didn't understand why they didn't want women in their league in the first place. And so by our team coming in, I was like, well, we're gonna win and we're gonna go to the NCAA tournament because we don't know anything about the big tournament. So that's what our goal was. We're gonna go and we're gonna see what it's about and all the things that comes with it, which is a enormous package of fun, everything. The best food, the best hotels, the best of everything. You're flying nice flights, not on raggedy buses, Greyhound buses.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so now a 2 hour flight instead of an 18-hour bus trip. What an
yes,
upgrade, right?
yes, exactly. And and since we were winning, our coach super. She's super nice if you win, but if you lose, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
She
and
she gonna
so
take your practice gear away.
yeah, like we flying planes with 6 seats. We got
Oh.
three, four planes. And after the games, if we would lose, we would pretty much be fighting who was going to stand sit in the plane with her because
Oh.
she's going to talk trash to you the whole flight. We were like pushing, no, not getting in there. We literally would be pushing each other not to get in the plane with her. And so we just learned to win because when we win, she would give us anything we want. Not not anything, but in
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we learned to win because now if you lose, you're going to Burger King and McDonald's. If you win, you're going to a 5-star hotel. What do you want? What do you want? You want a hamburger or you want crab legs?
Great story.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But
So
but again, that's just reality. That's what was
mm-hmm,
happening. And so before our interview, I'm sitting there thinking, to see and know that you were able to experience Title IX and
mm-hmm,
experience the differences, I definitely wanted to touch on that. And like you said, even I mean, a couple of years ago, I love when it went viral when, at
mm-hmm,
the NCAA tournament when the women said, "This is our practice facility and this is our weight room." And it was just a
mm-hmm.
stack of weights, and it
Yes,
shocked everybody. And
yes, it
I
did.
loved it because I'm like, you
Mm-hmm,
know what? Everybody talks about the negativity of social media, but here it was used as a tool to bring
yep.
awareness and to
Mm-hmm.
create change to make things better. And I was thrilled for that. But when you saw that, How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like we have come a long ways, you know. I mean,
Sure.
not a long ways in terms. I mean, look, we still got some institutions that still doing not what they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with the money and funding, and they still look at women as less. And you can really tell when you read all the comments of when women's basketball and the WNBA, they just don't want to give women the recognition that they deserve. And so with the Title IX and being forced to give women what they should have and it should be equal. And no, we don't bring in the funds that men bring in, and that's all around. You know, that's at Boeing, at Microsoft, Amazon. The women are not getting what the men are getting. So it's not just basketball; it's a whole totality of the situation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we went back in August. Mizzou celebrated 50 years of Title IX. And so
Wow.
we all went back for that, and that was beautiful. It was a gala event, and they spoke on that. And they brought all the teams back from the 70s and 80s, and to go and to sit there and hear those stories is kind of like um, it's sad
Yeah.
but kind of happy that we have arrived and we're getting there. And but it's just take a little bit more time and a little bit more women empowered so we
Yeah.
can get everything that we need. Yes, and
I
then as far as men is concerned, they're supposed to provide,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
It,
see, and I love that because like this year, as an example, and I know our conversation is evergreen, but what is neat is watching the women's Final Four in the
mm-hmm.
NCAA this year compared to the men's Final Four, where there's so
Yeah.
much parity, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad, which the NIL and things have changed that, which is good because the NCAA for years has been reactive instead of proactive. So
Right.
I'm seeing great changes. But to think that this year, watching Caitlin Clark and
Mm-hmm.
Louisville and LSU,
Yes.
South Carolina, and what Don Staley's doing,
Right.
the number of viewership was far greater than what the
Mm-hmm.
men's NCAA was, and even was better than what the NBA's final 2 weeks of the
Yes.
season were. So
Yes.
for you, Debbie, knowing that those numbers were out there and seeing the growth of the women's game and the popularity of the women's game, does that make you feel like you've helped pioneer that and it's helped
It
come
was,
a long way?
yes, most definitely. Yes, we were the first group. So yeah, we paved the road, and then we were the pioneers, the first one to get in the NCAA, and it's just a shame that it took so long. You know,
Yep.
I didn't
Yep.
even when I went to college, I didn't even understand none of that. We just
Right.
played basketball. We didn't know
Yep.
Division One, Division Two, AIAW, all this different stuff. We just played. And then when
Yep.
we got there, we were like, "Oh, there's a big difference," you know. And then you see the guys with all this stuff, and Norm Stewart with taking
Yeah.
the guys instead of everything, and I'm like,
Right. Right.
"Oh, there's
Yeah,
no."
that's what I'm saying. There's a big difference between Burger King and Ruth Chris.
Yes,
So
it is. It is.
let's talk about that. But I'm so glad to hear you be able to share those experiences because I want people to know and understand when I see Debbie and I can't wait to see you in August. It's just
Yes, me
like
too.
what a powerful thing to know that you helped pave that way. So here I am right now basically saying, "Hey, you deserve flowers. You
Thank
deserve
you.
recognition. You
Thank you,
deserve
Scott.
a pat on the back because you experienced what it was and you can share the history and share that knowledge and wisdom so that other people can understand that hey, we've come a long way. We got still some work to do, but man, we've gotten better and it's gotten better because of people like you who went through it. And not only was it just basketball, you started to learn the business of basketball."
Yes, exactly. And I remember one time we had a road trip, and it was a blizzard, and we were in those old raggedy vans. They wasn't raggedy, but they were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
old vans.
It was a hoopty. Let's be honest. It's a
Yeah.
hoopty.
And the traffic stopped, and so we were sitting on the I-70 for a long time. So finally, hours, and finally the sheriff came and got us, and he told us we had to leave. We got to evacuate the cars, and we have to leave. So they took us up. We walked up a hill or somewhere to this little,
Whoa.
it was like a little IHOP or something. But we were so happy we were going to get some food, some hot food. And so we ordered all our food, and we waiting and waiting. And next thing we know, You guys got to leave. You got to leave. We didn't get our food. The next group is coming in because the freeway's packed. So the sheriff, they kept bringing people. And then they took us from, we didn't get our food. They took us from there to this high school. And so we was at some high school. I don't even remember the city. Uh, we were in this high school, and it's like the homeless shelter.
Wow.
And
Wow.
all the people off the freeway is at this high school. Not all of them, but a lot. And so
Yeah.
they put us in the gym, and that's where we stayed. We slept there that night, and the community bought us food. Everybody's stomach was jacked up. So you imagine the bathrooms, and
Man,
so
yeah.
yeah, so that's the kind of things you go through. And even though we were going through that, coach was like, "Get dressed. We got practice. Practice,
Yeah.
practice." My stomach is messed up. But anyway,
Yeah.
we practiced, and on Monday we were going to play KU. So we were like, "Oh, we can't stand KU." So we practiced, and then we made it back, and then that Monday we played KU and beat them. And so it was like, yeah, straight.
Wow. Good
But yeah,
stuff.
but stuff like that you got to go through. Just like the WNBA, a flying commercial. You know,
Yep,
and getting
that's
late,
right.
and yeah, being laid over and stuck someplace, and then you got to go play a game, and if you get into town late, and then you got to get back and play another
Yeah.
game. It's not easy.
Spending all night sleeping on the floor in the airport and trying to
Mm-hmm.
catch connecting flights and
Yes,
that
and
and that's tough because here these women are trying to showcase their skills and abilities because
yes,
someone's spending their hard-earned money to come in and watch you, but yet if you're
mm-hmm.
not resting well, you're not eating well, and you can't prepare well, how do you expect to perform at your ultimum? And that's
Exactly.
love to hear these
Mhm.
stories that you're sharing, Debbie. I think this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Let's talk now about, you were able to play internationally before there was a WNBA.
Yes.
Take us through those experiences because I too was blessed that I coached around the globe and won multiple championships in different countries. But, you were able to play in, I believe, Switzerland and France. Take us
Mhm.
through what it was like being just a northern Indiana girl who spent time in the Midwest, and now you're in a foreign country with a foreign language, with foreign currency, and probably can't speak to everybody on your team. But what were those experiences like for you for growth personally and professionally?
Okay, so starting off, I was like, my friend Lorraine, once again, my teammate Lorraine Ferret, she went over to Geneva, Switzerland, my senior year, and so she was already over there. So she's telling me all about it. So I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I'm just
Yeah,
going for the ride. And so I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I'm gonna try to come over there too. And so meanwhile, I started getting I started getting a call from this agent. So he connects me with Stockholm, Sweden. And so I'm trying to get to Geneva. That's where I'm trying to get to Switzerland. Lorraine was in Locarno, an Italian part, but I'm trying to get to Geneva. But I'm talking to this guy from Stockholm, Sweden. And so he's telling me that they want me to come to Stockholm. So I'm like, but I'm going to France. And because I kind of verbally gave France, because France called me out of nowhere. Well, you want to come to Paris? Out of nowhere. And it was actually a guy from South Bend that was already in Paris. He told them about me, and then they called and they asked me, you want to come and play in France? So I'm like, I would like to, but I already signed with this agent, and I'm going to Stockholm, Sweden. And they was like, well, why? It's August. Why are you still there? And I'm like, I'm waiting on my ticket. And they're
yeah.
like, if they really wanted you, they would have sent you your ticket already. And I was like,
Wow.
maybe they're right. And so they was like, and then I said, let me go check. Let me go check about Stockholm a little bit more because I don't know anything about this place. So I go to the library, I get a book, and I start reading about Stockholm. And I'm like, there's no people of color nowhere around. I can deal with that because I already went to Mizzou, so that's not a problem. I can deal with that. But when I read it stayed dark the whole winter,
Ooh.
and I was like, now that's going to be a problem. I like the darkness and I like quiet and peacefulness, but not all day long. So I was
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about that one. I don't know. And so so then, so I'm waiting. So he's telling me, I'm okay, I'm gonna go. And I was like, after I read the book, I'm like, no, I'm not going. I'm not going. And so when the guy from France called, he said, go. He said, if you go to Chicago tomorrow, I have your ticket at the airport. And I said, well, okay, if Sweden don't send me the ticket by tomorrow, I'll tell my agent, then I'll come. And so I called my cousins in Chicago. My mom connected me with them and to for me to catch the train up to Chicago. And then my cousins picked me up, and then they put me on a plane to France. I think I
Wow.
had maybe $500 in my pocket, and I was lucky to have that.
Yeah.
And so I left, and I'm like, this is not even enough to get back. And so I was like, okay, just go, just go. So I this I'm not proud of it, but I just kind of like disappeared from my agent in Stockholm, and I went to France.
Yeah.
And when I went there, my agent picked me up. I had a new agent now.
Yeah.
And and he picked me up, and me and another guy from Notre Dame. Yes. And if he got both of us. And so we're both going to the same team. We're going to Saint Etienne, France, about 2 hours outside of Paris. So he picks us up, and I had French in college. Not
Oh,
that I was successful in it. I struggled, but I could understand.
little parlez-vous français.
Oui, oui. So I can struggle through it, but I can understand. I know what you're talking about, and I can respond, and I know what you're talking about. And so so we go to this town uh, uh, outside of Paris, and he owns a sporting goods shop, my agent. And so my team had advanced us. You know, they give you your advancement of your money. My team advanced me my check and advanced his check. So we both got our checks. We get to the train station. My agent, he's going. We first meeting up in Paris. My agent's going to send us to our towns, Saint Etienne. And so we get to the train station. He says he left his checkbook. You know that trick, right? I left my wallet at home.
Yeah, right.
And so I end up paying for the tickets. Okay, no problem. And so he takes me to his girlfriend's house, and he tells me he's going to be back. And she has a son. I'm staying with these people. I don't know
Yeah,
anything about them. And he didn't come back for like 5 days or something. And I'm just trying to get my money. I'm like, I just need my
right.
money. And I need my money, and then I get to my team. And I kept asking for my money, my money, my money, my money. Finally, I had to go to catch the train. Don't even know where I'm going. I caught the train back down to his shop, and then he ended up giving me clothes, French sport gear for my money. But then he was mad at me. He's mad at me because I want my money, and he said I was disrespectful. So I'm like, so I was
Wow.
like, I don't need you no more. I don't
Yeah.
need no agent no more. I can do this on my own. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this on my own. So I got France, sanity in France. They gave me an apartment, everything I needed. The coach is cool. Everything's perfect. And it's just kind of weird in a way because that was like social hour for them. Basketball, sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Just
like
recreation.
it's
Yep.
intramural, yeah. So they smoking and drinking on the trips. So I'm like, at halftime, they get out the game, they go on the side and they smoke. What's that? And then they bring their boyfriends on the road trips. Okay, this is not serious. This is just fun thing. And so I stayed, and I had a good time. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on over. I'm just gonna catch the train and go on over to Geneva myself, and I'll go negotiate my own contract. So I did. I went over to Geneva because I had already been talking to them, and they didn't have the money. That's what it was. They didn't have what I wanted. They needed a sponsor, and so they end up getting Renault, the car
Oh,
Renault.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they end up getting Renault, and then I left France and went on over to Geneva and played for Stade Français, and they were like in the bottom of the basement. They were like, you know how 18 B team, the first two
Yep.
teams come
Yep.
up and the two bottom go down. Where they're the two
Yep.
bottoms, they're about to go down, and
Yeah.
so it was like, we need you to help us keep from going down. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. It's all that relegation.
Mm-hmm. And I got a coach. He's a black guy from San Francisco. So
Okay.
let's go. And he's been there a while. He's played there forever. And so we're playing. We're winning. We're winning. We're winning. We're winning. We're winning. And it got down to it where just like in Indiana, where he tells me you need to just shoot, just go shoot. We need points. Just shoot, shoot, shoot. And that's what I did. And then my
Yeah.
teammates are mad. They get mad. American, give me the ball, American, American. Coach told me to.
That's right.
Coach told me to. And so I got us all the way to second place.
Wow. Wow.
My friend Lorraine was first place. She
Yeah.
played for Femina Bern, which was the Switzerland's divided up in three. So
Yep.
she played for the Italian part. I'm in the French part, and then Femina Bern was the German part. So she ended up transferring, going over there to play for Femina Bern, which was like a powerhouse team in
Yeah.
Switzerland, and they
Yeah.
always won and everything. And so yeah, so I did that, and then finally I was like, I kind of want to go home.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to pitchers.
Oh
And
wow.
most of my check was spent on calling home,
Yeah, right, right. Yeah.
calling home, and I'm like,
We didn't have WhatsApp and all the great technology that they have now, right?
exactly.
$200 a phone call.
I know. I get my phone bills $500, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So, but
wow.
when you go over there, you gotta know that you shouldn't spend none of your money. But we United States was having beef with Russia at that time, the Cuban Missile Crisis and all this stuff going. Not the Cuban Missile Crisis, but the Russian. And you remember
Yeah.
the '80s, all this
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
I,
That's
so you
Cold
think,
War.
yeah. So you thinking, oh well, I'm spending this money. I'm going to have me a good time. The world might not be here. Let's have a good time. So we used to spend all our money.
Oh, this is great.
And my
Ladies,
mom was like, "You need to save that money." He said, "Well, I'm gonna make some more. I'll make some more. Don't worry, mom. Get some more." Yeah. So
oh wow,
great
great
time.
stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we've got the Skywalker here on with us. This is Debbie Walker Augurson, watching the Coach Scott Field Show. We've only got a couple minutes left. You're being inducted into another Hall of Fame, the Indiana Sports Hall of Fame in August. You've already been a part of the Basketball Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you now that the career is over and you can kind of reflect a little easier? Is it emotional to you still today to receive those types of honors and accolades?
Not really. Some days it is, but I don't. I'm just happy that I'm here to see that people recognize me before I'm dead and gone, and I can leave a legacy, and I did something for women's sports and for people of color, and also going into the University of Missouri, and then able to become a Hall of Famer. And like I said, I didn't gun. I could have easily averaged 40, 50, 30, whatever, but I did not pass the ball to like my friend Lorraine and my teammates.
Yeah.
And so when I see that they put me in the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, well, it seems like now to be in the Hall of Fame, you got to have huge numbers, right? Yeah, you huge numbers, and my numbers they were decent. Yeah, I mean they're good, but
Yeah.
they could have been higher. But like I said, I played to win. I didn't play for numbers. I could have easily been a gun and got
Yeah.
all the points, get all the points and lose the games. Yeah, but no, I did
Love it.
what I was supposed to. I just love it that I can share with my family and friends, so we can all get together, and then
Amen.
it comes back to South Bend. That you guys are doing something great. You're producing all these great athletes, and we're going on to do great things. And I appreciate everyone that's helped me, my coaches, my family, my friends, you as well. Put me on your show. But I got
Awesome.
something special I want to show you.
Oh,
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm like my grandbaby. Close your eyes.
Okay. Okay. I got it.
Okay. I got two things. Ready? Boom.
Okay.
Look.
Ooh.
I don't know if you can see them.
No, that's clean right there. Wow.
Is that the Indiana logo on there? Let me see if I can.
Yes. That's
And then
wonderful.
he put the rings on there.
Yeah.
Um.
That
So that
is nice.
so that's that. This is my favorite one. So both of them, he put that Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, and this is their colors.
Yeah.
And he took this one. Look, he put the ring on there.
Ooh, that is sharp right there, Debbie.
And I don't. It's hard for me to tell what you can
No,
see because
yeah, I
I'm
can
like,
see
look.
it. Yeah.
And so that's the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame logo. And then
Yeah.
we won the 3-on-3 championship. That was a fun thing. And
Wow.
so yeah, and those are the rings, the old rings.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite thing right here. You know, I like shoes.
I love it. I love it. Yes,
So
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, blessed, honored, and humbled to have Miss Debbie on the show with us today to share stories, to share experiences, to share knowledge, to share wisdom with all of us. Can't wait to see you in August, my
I
friend.
can't wait either.
We're going to have a great time and looking forward to it. But thank you so much for sharing your time today to be a guest on the show, and can't wait to get this content and the links out to everybody to enjoy these stories.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in August. Hall
Let's
of
do it.
Fame 2023. Let's
There
go.
you go. Let's go. God bless you, girl, and look forward to seeing you. But thanks once again for being a guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Coach Scott Field Show, and stay tuned for another exciting guest. But how cool was this today, Debbie?
All
uh,
right.
let it
Later, Scott.
fly, girl.
All right. Bye bye.